There was one guy, Jack, on Fire Island. He just died, but he was rumored to give the best blowjobs on the island. And everybody you talked to said, oh, yeah, it's Jack. And because he took out his teeth. And this was what I know. I talked to him a lot when he was alive about this. And even after his death, people were like, oh, more. But it was like you would talk to any guy and go, who gives the best blowjobs on the island? They go, Jack. And regardless of age or race or class or what city they were from or what, I always say Jack.
It's
Jack gave the best. It was Jack. And that's the kind of gay history that I love.
Hi, gay. I'm PJ Brescia, they, them pronouns, your host of the BabyGay Podcast and the founder of the BabyGay community, celebrating the coming out process through storytelling, advocacy, and togetherness. I came out later in life and I knew nothing about queer culture. I'm still not an expert, so let's go on a journey of self-discovery together with amazing guests, diverse coming out stories, LGBTQI plus history, and everything in between. This is the BabyGay Podcast. Coming out looks good on you. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the BabyGay Podcast. I am your host, PJ Brescia, they, them, and we are here at the historic Black Cat in Silver Lake, California, with a legend. She is an extremely special guest to me and to our community. She's a comedian, she's an actress, she's an activist, she's a fellow Out 100 honoree, Margaret Cho.
Hi, thank you. Congratulations on the Out 100. That's such a big deal.
Thank you. I'm still not fully processing it. It was such a beautiful moment. It came kind of out of nowhere for me. And I was like, wait, is this real? Like, I'm so honored to be a part of this community. And
it's wonderful, too, because it's like we get to appreciate who's doing what.
Yes.
And, it's like an acknowledgement on so many different levels and also the arenas that they're in. It's not always just media. It's kind of everything. Everybody doing everything. It's super cool. So
yes,
it's really nice to be acknowledged. So
yes,
you should be proud.
Thank you. I'm very, very proud. And I'm very excited to have these. We're going to do a mini series within the BabyGay Podcast of just having conversations with other honorees, and it's
cool.
I've connected with some already that are I'm excited to see them in person at the event. It's truly been a beacon of hope for me in this challenging year since I've seen you last. For those, Margaret was our headliner for last year National Coming Out Day event, which was historic because we partnered with the Black Cat in the city of LA to officially recognize National Coming Out Day as an LA city holiday, which was amazing. And Margaret came and was so generous and was our headliner. So I'm so, so grateful for you eternally.
Thank you. It was such a different time because we still thought that Kamala was going to be president.
I know.
I did. At that time, I was like, oh, she's going to win.
100%.
I totally thought she was going to win. And I'm still grappling with the reality of it. I do think that she did win. Anyway, I think they cheated. I'm so blue and on. I love a conspiracy theory and I know it's crazy, but I don't care. I mean, the way that they're behaving like they cheated. So I don't know.
Exactly. I mean, it's based on everything else they're doing. It's exactly in line. Yeah. And I rewatched your set from our event and you were talking about the shooting of the ear. And that's just, I feel like we've somehow forgotten about that. And it's like, it's fake. It was all fake.
So fake.
Yeah.
But it's like everything that he's doing, it's just so awful. And the worst part about it is the demonization of the trans community.
Yes.
Like they've always been terrible when it came to trans rights. But this is just so despicable that the way that they're talking about the trans community, whether the way that they really trying to make the trans community out to be terrorist. And they're not. It's just so despicable.
It's horrible. It's really horrible. And, I was just at this big gala for Equality California, such an amazing organization. And they were talking, I'm not a sports fan, so I was unaware of what they were doing, but they were talking about these very expensive multi-million-dollar ads that are running during NFL games. And it's exactly that. And it's a scary time. It's a scary time.
Yeah. And that this on the 7th that we're going to see if the Supreme Court's going to overturn Obergefell and Hodges. It's like, where are we? That's why I think that things like the Out 100 are more important than ever. Mm-hmm. This year we have to really pay attention to community, celebrate community, take our victories where we can, because it's just such a trial. I really don't know what's going to happen with the Supreme Court and gay marriage. I'm not optimistic. The Supreme Court is incredibly corrupt, and you can't rely on them to be just.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I completely agree, and I'm trying to just take it one day at a time. It's So since I saw you, I started this coalition. It's called the LA Queer Coalition, and it's been this incredible example of the queer community, all parts of the queer community coming together, working together for the greater collective. And we formed it right after the election, in this in this really dark period, and it's been incredible. And since we've launched, we've had 3 town halls. The first one ended up being like a fire resource share solidarity event, which was really beautiful. FEMA was there officially, and they pulled me aside and basically were like, "This is the last LGBTQI plus event that we can probably be a part of in an official capacity," which was scary to hear. And then our next event was a panel for healthcare and legal rights for the TGI2+ community. And when we partnered with the Connie Norman Transgender Empowerment Center, and the Trans Chorus of LA performed, and it was just such a beautiful event. And then most recently we had an event, and it was basically anti-ICE immigrant allyship coming together and supporting another community that's being attacked. So that's been, while in the backdrop of this insanity, it's been really beautiful of the queer community coming together, chosen family forming, and just being there for one another. Because, for my trans family, every day it's an up and down battle, and these are really beautiful, powerful people. And even these powerful people are having these really dark, scary moments because of what's happening. Yeah. So that's where we have to come together and kind of take turns, like taking the wheel for those who are having a harder day. And we all, we're all going to have our ups and downs. So
yeah, I'm so glad that you're doing that, because it's really, really important to really demonstrate allyship, not only to kind of the larger marginalized community, like those that are victimized by ICE, but we're also getting victimized by ICE as well, where you have, all of these raids on like a Port Authority in New York, where you're getting like 200 gay men swept in like a sex sweep. Like, Lucia's really upset about it. She wants gay men to be able to cruise freely. Same. But stuff like that, things like they're using all of these weird excuses about like open borders to take away all of our rights. Yeah. And it's really across the board. It has nothing to do necessarily with like immigration or immigration status. It's just they're like taking down anybody they don't like, and it's really scary. And
something actually that I thought of you when I heard this, and I'm pretty sure it's accurate, but with the Charlie Kirk Memorial and with the RNC, these mega Republican events, Grindr's crashing. And it's like
crashing.
Yeah.
It's so gay. Well, it's like I mean, that whole thing was just such a nightmare too. The way that they're attacking people. I'm talking about this in my comedy a lot, how they're attacking people for not mourning Charlie Kirk enough. Well, they won't even allow us to mourn our dead. Like, I want to be able to have a rainbow crosswalk in front of the Pulse. Yeah. And that the fact that they won't even allow us to have a rainbow crosswalk. I mean, and they use that excuse like, well, Charlie Kirk was a father. Yeah, well, half the guys that died at the Pulse were daddies. Yeah. So come on. Yeah. Like the only way that I can fight it is with a sense of humor. Yes. Because it's just absurd.
It's absurd.
How they won't even allow us to have our own grief. So why and we're not grieving enough for somebody that wanted our community dead. Yeah. So I don't understand. There's no justice in this. There's no reason in this, and there's no like equality in this. Mm-hmm.
I'm just so proud to be in Los Angeles, because I feel like in response to what's happening outside the Pulse, I saw Venice kind of built a new rainbow crosswalk to kind of just highlight again their support and solidarity in this craziness. But
that's wonderful. Yeah, so wonderful.
It is. I mean, it's. I just am. I'm a lover. I'm not a fighter, and I just seeing our country get so divided is really It's so sad. But I will say your social media is just really giving me light because,
good.
you know, really keep that up. It is hilarious. I can't wait to see your show. Let's talk about it. It's the Choligarchy. You're on tour. You're in mid-tour. I mean, you're on the beginning part of the tour. Let's hear how it is from your perspective.
Well, it's really important because comedy got us into this. You know, comedy through all of these bro podcasters who platformed this administration. You know, they had all of them on, you know, and basically endorsed them without thinking about the consequences of putting inadequate people in a position of power, which is who they are. They're inadequate. They're just unprepared. They're not for this job. And so, you know, and that was mostly comedians doing it. You know, and so now I think comedy is the one thing that can get us out of it. And so I want to apply everything that I know. And as a political comedian now for 40 years, I feel like I have some knowledge of what I'm doing. So I'm trying to go after it as hard as I can to fight for trans rights, to fight for gay rights, to maintain the rights that we have, to fight for all of our immigrant communities. The entire nation is a nation of immigrants. And I don't know why we don't acknowledge that further. It's not just for white people. It's not about upholding white supremacy. And so I want to find a place to do that. So the show is really important.
We need to attack them specifically because that's what they can't handle. You know, they want all this attention. Your delivery is just so iconic and it's incredible. And
thank you.
Yeah, it's.
Thank you. Yeah, they cannot. Those are the richest people in the world cannot afford jokes at their expense.
Exactly.
And that's why I'm just so adamant about doing it. And it's hard too. Like, and I've lost a lot of comedian friends to this whole thing. You know, it's so sad how people that I had once was really close to and admired are now on the other side. And I'm like, how could you possibly? I feel like I don't have any family members on that side, fortunately, but I have a lot of like comedian friends who are like family members who are working for the dark side, which I think is like so sinister. It's also weird to me when members of the gay community want to exclude the trans community or the non-binary community from gay rights, from the platform, from the rainbow, you know, and that's really troubling too. Like, who do you think saved us? Who do you think we got gay rights from? We got that directly from the trans community. We wouldn't be here as a political power, as a force. We'd still be illegal if it weren't for trans people. So we need to pay our debt to the trans community for getting us here. But also, like, we're nothing if we're not united. And it's so weird that they want to separate themselves.
Why do you think? Because I'm seeing this too in my life where it's, you know, secretly these people that I've been friends with, or not, the friendship is not secret, but suddenly they're now on the dark side. And it's like, wait, I don't understand why, like, do you think it's just a financial thing? Or do you think that they've been evil this entire time? Like, what?
I think it's sort of like, it depends on identity, whether it's proximity to whiteness or proximity to heterosexuality. Proximity to power, I think, is generally what it is. It's like, oh, you know, you would normally consider me a freak, but if I agree with you, then maybe you'll accept me as one of yours. And that's why I think that there are a lot of like gays and lesbians who are like want to be part of the quote unquote normal gays. You know, like that weird idea that there's normal gays. Like, bitch, there are not normal gays. Come on. We're all freaks and it's fine.
Yes.
It's great.
Yes.
And you know, but it's like that's proximity to power, proximity to heterosexuality, proximity to normalcy. It's what they're seeking, but they're not going to get that because they'll get pushed out as after being used. Yeah. As tokens.
Yeah, I don't get it. Specifically, I really loved your recent post, and you were asking the trans community, what do you need? How can we support you? I thought that was really powerful, and a lot of people are not asking them directly, what do they need? And I'd love to know, what was the response? Like, what were some takeaways from that?
So many things. I mean, a lot of people, you know, had varied and really interesting answers, but a lot of them just need support because they really are under siege. Like, it's terrifying to be trans because basically saying you shouldn't exist. And it's so scary. So whether it's, like try to stockpile hormones, which I think is I'm doing because I'm fortunately the recipient of HRT. So I'm getting a stockpile together for, women who need it. When the time comes, I'll be here for them. I'll be here as a resource for them, whether it's places to live, whether it's jobs. A lot of trans people aren't unable to get employment because of this environment, and so that's a really horrifying thing too. Like their basic needs are being held from them just because of their identity or this idea of their identity. It's not even their identity that's doing this, because I don't know murderous trans people.
Yeah. Right.
It's not even real identity. It's a fake kind of mythology that these right-wingers have built out of watching Silence of the Lambs. It's not real. It's not real. So that's not the real trans community, and it's never been.
Yeah.
So it's a really it's a horrifying thing, and it's really scary for so many people. And I have trans people in my family, and I'm terrified for them.
Yeah.
So it's they need a safe place to be. They need an ear to listen. And they need to be asked all the time, what do you need? Because they are really at war with the whole world right now, and it's really scary.
Thank you for doing all of that. Speaking of, so we are huge fans of Boots. We just had Greg Cope White on, who says hello, and I read
him.
The Pink Marine. I love him. I love that book.
Yeah.
I love the show.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's amazing.
The show is beautiful, and the book is amazing. And I've known Greg for a really, really long time, and he's been talking about this show and the possibility of this happening for a long time. So it's very exciting that it's finally out, and it's such a big hit, and everybody is so wonderful in it, and it's just a beautiful thing. I'm so excited they're getting another season.
Is that official?
I'm so excited that the Pentagon is mad. I thought that they are coming back for a season.
Okay,
2.
good. That's what I thought. I saw like the extensions, and it's too good. I'm like, it's a hit. It has to have a second season.
Good.
Yeah, and the Pentagon.
It's so good.
I know.
Furious.
Yeah, amazing.
It's great.
It's amazing. Yes. So we just had him on last week. The episode's going to come out, I think, next week. But it was actually Greg with his best friend Dale, who are the two, like, the protagonists of the story. And it was just so, I could personally really relate, because I've had a best friend since 5 years old that's brother status, that's straight. And kind of, you don't see necessarily that dynamic in media where it's like these two characters who have such love for each other, but it's not romantic. And that's not what the story is about. And I don't know, I thought they did such a phenomenal job.
It's wonderful because it shows that straight men can be hags. You can have a straight hag, and there are lots of them. There are lots and lots of straight cis hags.
And it shows how secure and comfortable they are with their sexuality.
Yeah.
Because the ones that are getting this like knee-jerk reaction are the ones that are just scared of what's going on inside.
Yeah, they don't know who they are.
Right.
And they're afraid of who they might be. And it's really immature and wretched. You know, it's weird.
Yeah.
So it's great to have an example. Oh, like a straight hag. It's beautiful.
Yes. And I just listened to Your Best in Cho in prep, and it hilarious. I was dying. And the Dick O'Clock with the hag shuttle.
Oh, thank you.
Do you still go to P-Town often?
I did. I just was there this last summer, which was really incredible. I really love it there. You know, to me, it's just a really amazing spiritual place.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much gay history there. Yeah. I have such really, really important close friendships. I want to buy 12 plots in the cemetery to make a sundial, so I could make a gay clock, so all of us can be buried at like a certain time.
Oh my gosh!
You know, so that you would see the time, the gay time, from the sundial. So that's my plan after I'm done living. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I love the place. to me, it's just really important to go there. It is a gay mecca. It is, a kind of a place where this year it felt like Kamala won. It felt like we were still under a democracy.
Yeah.
And it was really special to be there.
Now, what's your preference in terms of Provincetown versus Fire Island? Do you have?
I love both.
Okay.
I love both. It's to me actually a journey that I usually go to Provincetown first, and then I go to Fire Island. But this year I didn't go to Fire Island. There's some years that I only go to Fire Island, and some years that I only go to Provincetown. I've been going to Provincetown since 1986.
Wow.
Every summer, pretty much. And Fire Island, I have a less of a relationship. I've been going there since 2008.
Okay.
So I love both. I think they're both really, really important in my life, in my social life, in my gay life, in my hag life.
Yes. How would you describe the differences for the baby gays that don't know?
Well, Provincetown is more, it's more variety of people. Also, there's a lot of families. There's kind of focus on family, not the organization focus on family, but a focus on family activities. So they have big gay family events, gays with their kids. There's a lot of baby strollers. It's a bigger sort of it's a town. So with Fire Island is really kind of a small kind of resort where there's two, points where there's Pines and Cherry Grove, and the feeling of Fire Island is more of a party atmosphere. In general, there's it's more adults, so you have more of a kind of bar, drag, show, nightlife kind of emphasis. Although in Provincetown, there's drag shows every day, all day. It's like a drag Disneyland where you have performances from every drag queen you want to see every moment, which is really fabulous and really, really necessary. But in Fire Island, it is, there's I remember a time when it was just Portia. We only had one drag queen. On Fire Island, it was Portia, and she had to go back and forth to Cherry Grove and the Pines all night. So yeah, it's a little bit of a different thing. Provincetown is more of I'm here for the summer, and Fire Island is I'm here for weekends.
Right.
Coming out from the city. So it's kind of set up a little bit differently.
Yeah.
But they're both equally amazing and historic.
Yes.
And really fun.
To be honest, I haven't explored either of them as I've been out. I've only been to Provincetown closeted with my straight family and didn't have that same experience. So I need to. When
you go, you'll find just a whole new world of it. It is really gay Disneyland in the very best way. It's gay Disney World because there's just so many shows and activities. And tea dances.
Yeah.
And they have tea dances also in Fire Island, very famous for that. But yeah, a lot of beauty and history. There was one guy, Jack, on Fire Island. He just died. He was really old. He was probably in his 90s, but he was rumored to give the best blowjobs on the island. And everybody you talk to said, oh yeah, it's Jack. And because he took out his teeth. I noticed that, and this was what I know. I talked to him a lot when he was alive about this, and even after his death, people were like, "Oh, more." But it was you would talk to any guy and go, "Who gives the best blowjobs on the island?" They go, "Jack." And regardless of age or race or class or what city they were from or what, it's a Jack.
It's Jack
gave the best. It was Jack, and that's the kind of gay history that I love.
Yeah. Where
you have somebody that is well known for something and died with, glorious remembrance.
Yeah.
A true hero. Thank you for your service,
yes,
Jack.
Yes, truly. That is incredible. It just reminds me of another guest we had recently. And the first time they gave a blowjob, the person was like, "You less teeth. And he was like, I didn't know I was using teeth. And it's,
Oh, no.
Yeah. They can get in the way. So if you can remove them,
It's a bonus. It's what a bonus. And it's really, Jack was really special. And even Jack knew it. Jack's like, oh yeah, I do give the best blowjobs on the island. He knew that he was the MVP.
Yeah. That's amazing. R.I.P. Jack. Thank you for your service, truly. So I'd love to hear more about your coming out story and your upbringing in San Francisco.
Well, I was raised in a gay bookstore. And so I felt very comfortable coming out as a pretty young person. I always had very intense relationships with girls that were far beyond like crushes or just best friends. Like I would just like be destroyed if my young girlfriends like wanted to do something else or like not hang out with me. And I, really like, I don't know. I didn't really clock it because I didn't know what it was. But then my parents bought a gay bookstore when I was 8 years old. And so then I was there around gay people, around gay men and lesbians and trans people and people getting tattooed really early on. They were early followers of Harvey Milk. There was a lot of stuff happening in San Francisco. And so I felt very comfortable coming out. I was probably like 17 as a lesbian. And I had a girlfriend who was way older than me. That's shocking. Like, I think now, she was like at least in her 50s. And I was like 17, 18. And it's so shocking to me. But she was great. Like, she was this like beautiful butch. And I was like, I'm in. And then I wouldn't stop coming out.
Yep.
To people.
Yep.
Like when I was a baby gay, all I did was like come out really forceful. I'm gay.
Yeah.
Because I'm gay. Like really confrontational about it. Like, because I'm gay. And then later I started to realize that I was super attracted to men. And then I was confused. Like, well, what does that even mean? Like, because I at the earliest part of my life, I was only surrounded by gay men and lesbians. I didn't know you could be bisexual because everybody that I knew were like, oh, bisexuality isn't real. And I think in the 70s, that was a true thought amongst the gay community. Like bisexuality was considered you're living a lie because you don't want to fully come out. Or there's something that's untrustworthy about that. But I actually did not understand that I was a true bisexual until my mid-20s.
So in like, let's say high school, you were just dating women and then in post, I guess in your 20s, then you realize that you have this.
Yes.
I feel like that's part of the journey. It's part of peeling back the onion. You reminded me that first initial coming out, it's just this eye-opening excitement. Oh, I can hook up with anyone. Like, it's like really just this euphoric feeling. I obviously am so attracted to men, and that's who most likely I'm going to end up with, unfortunately. But I also have such attraction and love for all folks. So I think, for me right now, I would say I classify myself as pansexual. How do you identify currently?
I think pansexual is appropriate, probably. Bisexual, I don't like the term because then it sort of makes you, it kind of infers that there's only two genders, and I don't believe that. I think gender is really infinite, and I think that, there are so many genders and so many ways to be. So I don't think bisexual is appropriate, but I do think that it applies when it's like my gender plus somebody else's gender. So two in the space of a relationship. So it doesn't make it so much of a binary. But pansexual is probably more appropriate.
Yeah. Also, side question. Why do you think your parents bought a gay bookstore?
Well, there's a few reasons. I think my dad loves male attention. He's really a handsome guy. And when he first came to America in the 60s, he was not perceived as handsome because he wasn't white. So they just didn't acknowledge, and he was so used to pretty privilege that he didn't see it until he went to the gay community, until he was hanging around, walking around the Castro, and he would get a lot of male attention. And then he was like, hey, and then he loves reading, he loves books, and he loves the literary world. He's a writer himself. And so he saw this bookstore was up for sale in the Polk district at the time, which was another sort of mini Castro there. And I think the guys just wined and dined him. They're like hot guys there. He loves male attention. He still does.
Yeah.
His house is filled with paintings of men, of paintings that men have done of him.
Wow.
So, because he's like a really gorgeous guy. And so it's a very it's vanity. It's also like a suppression. He has like a very gay side. So it's repressed. So I don't know if he's ever actually acted out on it, but I do know that he has fallen in love with men. He's very open about, he's like, oh yeah, I love that guy. Like I love him, you know? So it's clear to me that he wanted access and proximity again to the gay community without necessarily being gay himself, which he might be. There's still time. He's 89.
There is still time.
There's still time, but I don't know if that will ever happen. But I do know that he has very much acknowledged his love for gay men and love for gay art and culture and literature and film and all these things that I was exposed to as a kid. So, and then I think they may have like known some things about me, but weren't able to articulate it, and also didn't know how to go about telling me it was okay. So, buying into a gay business may have given them permission to have me around gay people so they could teach me something that my parents couldn't. So there's a little sort of that thought too. Well, on our refrigerator, there was one of my dad's employees who was a guy who had his entire body covered in a full body tattoo, which was like rare. Yeah. In the late 70s. And so it was like a naked man covered in tattoos on our refrigerator. And that's like the image that I saw like most. So he was very open about it. Yeah. I mean, there was nothing considered off. Like to me and to them, straight was the odd one out. It was abnormal to be straight. Gay was so normal, and straight was the aberration. So that I think was the inversion of sort of that I think was really helpful for me as a kid. Definitely.
That's a world I feel like I live in now, and then I will travel elsewhere, and then I'm like, oh wait, right, this is a bubble, unfortunately, but this is how it should be. This is truly how it should be.
Right. And it's really beneficial to be born into it, you know, because I was basically born into it. So I'm really lucky. Yeah. But a lot of people are not. So we have to create that on our own.
Yeah. And would you say that's given you that strength to be such an advocate? Yeah.
And just the gravity, that it takes to have to fight for our community day after day, and to not feel like I'm going to be swallowed up, or not feel like I can question it. I need to question it. I don't have to question it.
I did learn. I didn't know. So your dad was a writer, and a writer of jokes. So is he a super funny person as well?
He is funny, and he is always trying to help me out. My mom is really funny too. And they have just a great sense of humor, which they fortunately passed on to me.
That's great. What was there a media that was helpful in your coming out journey specifically? That's something we like to ask.
Not exactly. I mean, it was my environment. Yeah. It was the people that I was around. If anything, it would probably be all of the works of Armistead Maupin, who would, he wrote all the series of Tales of the City. And he would actually do book signing events at my parents' store. So I got to meet him as a child and read his books very, very early on. So yeah, if anything, probably his books, because they were less about coming out or less about being gay. It was already being in the community of where everything is gay. Everybody is gay. And that's just the norm. Yeah. So that to me was like, oh, it's like that just reflects the way my world is.
Yeah. From what I've seen on the show, it's very much about, chosen family. Like, to me, that's what sticks out the most. And I think that is so important for our community. It's, a lot of us, unfortunately, don't have necessarily the best relationships with family, but that doesn't mean we can't build our own families. And that's something that I just want to continue to instill to folks who are still struggling and still trying to find their way, that, it's a journey, and part of it is finding your people that will support you and be there in these good times and bad times. Where have you found your chosen family?
Really through my comedy, my artwork. Like I've, found it, most of my friends are comedians and musicians and artists. Also through my recovery community. I have a lot of years sober, which is a very important part of my life.
Wow.
So that's a big part of
Congratulations.
where I get my. Oh, thank you. That's a big deal too. For gay people, we need to be sober. I mean, I do, but a lot of people. I mean, I think that it would be helpful.
Yeah.
So a lot of our community is also centered in bar culture.
Yeah.
So that can be tough.
Yeah.
But I'm very steeped in that. The sort of spiritual side of it too. I have a very strong meditation practice, which is a collective thing.
Okay.
So I have people that I actively meditate with, people that I seek silence with, and they're all gay.
I'd love to hear more about that.
Thing.
What's that routine like?
We just get on the phone or we get on a FaceTime. We don't talk. We just sit there and we just meditate. And it's so cool.
I love that.
We'll get on a Zoom and don't say a word.
Yeah.
It's totally like hanging out or and I think this is also helpful for people I have a lot of people in my life who are neurodivergent.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, come over and don't say a word.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's really healing. And, it's a real a gift to be able to sit in silence with people.
Mm-hmm.
Meditation really helps me in my life, but I think that if everybody in the queer community started doing it, we would be a lot better off.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what we do. We get together online or in person and don't talk.
How long are those?
They can go anywhere from a few minutes to a couple of hours.
Wow.
It just depends on kind of what's happening or what's going on. But it's wonderful to do it in like a group setting, whether it's, on the phone or online or in person. It's really special.
Have you ever tried TM?
Yes. I like that a lot too.
It's just been this really beautiful, enlightening practice for me, and it's pushing me back into meditation, which I ultimately love. And at my peak, I was following like the TM kind of format with like 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night, and that was great. But I've had a hard time this year to just sit down and be in silence, but it's so important. I think, just as you're saying, it is. It really is.
It's hard, but we can always find 1 minute. We can always find 2 minutes here and there. You can always find a moment. It doesn't have to be as structured. It's great to build up to 20 minutes twice a day, and that's wonderful. But sometimes it's just too hard to fit it into our lives. But 1 minute is just as good.
Yes.
1 minute here, 1 minute there. It adds up.
Yep. Which leads me to your music, which I absolutely love. And is that kind of, tell us about your music journey and, being an outlet of creativity.
I love it. I play music every day, and it's part of a spiritual practice in a way. There's no real end goal or no real thought of like creating. It's just, I want to make music. I have a bunch of different instruments, and I just do it daily. I never let a day go by without at least touching an instrument. Just to do it. And then, of course, there's times where I get really into it and I'm writing, and I was more formal to like go and record, and I have like a little band that I record with, and we put stuff out. But in general, for me, it's just a way to celebrate solitude. Like sometimes solitude needs some like zhuzhing up, and that's where I play.
When did you start playing?
I've been playing guitar since about since for about 15 years, but the kind of like really writing and kind of getting more into it, like I think that's been about the last 10 years, much more so. But I also played piano as a child, and so I've been around music my whole life, but I've never committed myself so deeply as I have in the last decade.
I mean, it really is this beautiful piece. I wasn't sure what I was going into, and I came away just really inspired, and it was just something beautiful to listen to while I was doing work. And I dove into kind of some of more of the songs, like the one about Robin Williams, which is just so powerful. Would love to hear more about that.
Made that song in right after he died, and so I was doing an outreach for people experiencing homelessness called Be Robin, that was devoted to and celebrating Robin Williams' work with homeless people during comic relief because he used to put these big, all these huge charity shows on with Whoopi Goldberg and Billy Crystal to give money to homeless people in the 80s. And I actually got to do one. Wow. So after he died, I put together Be Robin as a way to celebrate him. And so we raised money online, we crowdfund, and then we'd go buy a lot of supplies for communities and then set up shows at encampments. So we'd feed people and then do a comedy and music show. So Funny Man, the Robin Williams song, was written there with Roger Rocha, who's in Four Non Blondes. And we would have these huge bands. We'd have pick up people, like sometimes we'd have like Boots Riley would play in our band, or Bob Mould. We had real like amazing people that would come and join us in these big street shows, and it was really special to do. So that was a way to channel grief into music. So really spiritual and creative. I wrote a song that was right now my album. I'm writing kind of like focus, but one of the things that I'm writing is I wrote a song about how cats that got displaced during the Altadena fire and were really mad about it. Yeah. So it's from their perspective. So my new album is going to be full of anger. Okay, great. Like injustice of being taken from your home in the middle of a terrible fire disaster. So that's been really, and when I play it, it's so funny because I have 3 cats. They all run throughout the house. They have zoomies, and they'll go in a litter box and kick litter out and like run back for like, it's so weird how they know what the song is about somehow. And they're really like crazed. Yes.
Going back to the Be Robin, I mean, that is so stunning and so important. If you ever wanted to do it again, I would love to participate because I think, firstly, I don't know if people do know this, but like, I think it's like a crazy number. It's like 75% of the unhoused community is LGBTQI plus. So it's really affecting our community severely. And they're treated with the lack of respect. And it's something
so
that we
awful.
Need.
It's so sad. And it's mostly queer youth. Yeah. It's mostly really young people. Yeah. Like, and it's really sad and it's really scary. And anything we can do to help is really important.
Exactly. So thank you for that. That's really, really beautiful.
Thank you.
Let's talk about All That We Love.
It's going to be in the Outfest. This is one of the films that's coming out, and we're having a screening of it at the Gay and Lesbian Center. And it's a film that I made that's about the mourning of a dog. So the dog doesn't die in the movie. I have to explain to everybody. So the dog doesn't die in the movie. The dog is already dead. Okay. So don't. That's what I picked up from the trailer. So I got that from the trailer. Yeah, good. The dog has already died. Okay. So it's not like, because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know if I can handle watching a dog die in the movie. No, I'm like, no, he's already died in the movie before it starts. And then it's just about the coming to terms with grief and grief of an animal, which I think is very, it's very real, but not really talked about, or talked about with limited kind of breath. Mm-hmm. We give a lot of sort of ears to grief over people, and of course that's very valid and important. Yep. But grief over our animals is really deep and a really big deal. So it's about that, and also about being a hag, a lifelong hag, and the very true, very real connections that we have our relationships. So it's really deep because the hagism is treated as the primary relationship. So that's really exciting too. With Jesse Tyler Ferguson, who we love. Yes. The chemistry, it just looks so amazing and hilarious. So when did you shoot that project? We made that in 2023. And so it's great that it's finally out and getting seen by people. So it'll be out in theaters on November 7th. And, I'm really grateful. Also, I have a film out that's in theaters now. Called Queens of the Dead, which is Tina Romero, George Romero's daughter, who's made a zombie movie where is a zombie apocalypse that starts at a drag show. And it's really exciting. It's really, really great. It's in theaters now, and it's me and Nina West and Katie O'Brien, who's just such a beautiful, amazing action hero. She's phenomenal. Tomas Matos from Fire Island, and Dominique. Dominique is so the goddess from Pose.
Wow.
She's amazing. Everybody is so great in it. And Jack Haven from I Saw the TV Glow. It's a really special film, and I hope people love it. Tina Romero did an amazing job. She's carrying on the legacy of her amazing father, and it's zombies, it's action, it's blood, but they bleed glitter. It's fabulous.
I love that. That is what we need.
Yeah.
We need just escapism right now. So and
Yeah.
that sounds exactly right up my alley. So I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
We're gonna do. It's a fun little rapid fire questions game.
Yes.
First queer crush.
I think Julie Andrews.
Mm.
Sound of Music.
First joke you've ever told on stage.
Oh, I would say my name is Margaret Cho and I drive very well. And this was I would say that after a bunch of white comedians would tell Asian driver jokes and everybody would be embarrassed. So and this is when I was a kid. I was 15. So, this was the first one.
Also, that reminds me, I want to circle back to the Robin Williams of it all. You performing after Robin Williams at 15?
The worst. I mean, he owned a comedy club that I lived across the street from. So I would do shows there every day. And he would come in and he would do shows also. And he would bump everybody. And I would always have to go on after him, which is such a nightmare when you're a young comic. It's a nightmare at any age as a comedian because he was the greatest. But it taught me a lot. He was a great guy.
That is truly iconic. That's incredible. What's your favorite city to perform in?
I love San Francisco. It's where I'm from. It's where I'll always go. It's a place that has so much meaning. It's changed a lot. Mm-hmm. It's different now, but it's still, to me, a really beautiful, important place.
The gayest thing about you?
I aspire to Freddie Mercury numbers of cats. I think he had 19 or something. I have 3, but that's still a lot. So I aspire to Freddie Mercury cat numbers.
What's your favorite self-care activity?
I sleep. I'm such a sleeper. I love sleeping. I love to just sit there and read. I love no lights and just the light to read. I like that. No screens. It's really special. So yeah, I love that feeling.
What's a song that always gets you dancing?
Oh, probably Grooves in the Heart. Delight by Delight. That's very gay. That's very it's very Wigstock. It's giving Wigstock.
Boldest fashion risk you've ever taken?
I don't know. I'm not so much of a risk taker. I mean, I have one time I had I made a dress out of fake pearls, but it just was impractical. It was uncomfortable. I had a peacock sort of sheath dress I wore to the Grammys once that was so totally see-through except for peacock feathers kind of on my breasts and around my crotch. Yeah. And then it had a neck piece that kind of went up and it was so uncomfortable because it was metal. So it was very impractical, very uncomfortable, but it looked kind of fabulous, but I don't think I would do that again.
What's your comfort food?
Ooh, I like to make Korean food. So I like a bibimbap. I like a sundubujjigae, which is the tofu soup that's in the hot red pepper sauce. So those things, the foods from my childhood are really soothing.
So what's your favorite Korean spot in LA?
I'm so basic. I like BCD tofu. It's open 24 hours. Okay. There's a whole bunch of them in Koreatown. They're also all over Orange County. They're really special. I really love their recipe. So everything they make is sort of the same. But yeah, it's really good.
Who's a queer artist that's inspiring you right now?
Anoni. I think she's just incredible. I've also been listening to a lot of Genesis P-Org. I was able to actually, before her death, sing with her at Teragram, which is really special. We did a duet, and that was really amazing. But she's just blowing my mind. All of her work with Psychic TV, and it's so many albums and so much history. So Yeah, she's amazing.
What's one word to describe the Choligarchy?
Cracked. We're just cracked. It's cracked. I'm cracking, and it's cracked. I want to crack everybody. I'm so mad, and I'm coming for it. Like I'm cracking. It's cracking.
What's one piece of advice you would give to your baby gay self?
Everything is going to be okay, because it is. That's always like worried. I was like, it's like disaster. Like I was such a catastrophic mindset, like catastrophizing everything. But now I'm like, everything's going to be okay. I still think that our administration and political times is very catastrophic, but I think it's going to go okay. The pendulum has to swing back. That's the nature of this thing.
Yep.
And so I'm trusting on that.
Yes, everything is going to be okay, one step at a time, and we're in it together, and that's what we need to continue to lean on, our chosen family, and everything will be okay. And
yes, exactly.
The final segment, it's called My First Time. So we ask our guests to share their first queer crush, their first queer kiss, their first queer sexual experience, really whatever, first queer sex party, to kind of highlight. It's clunky. It's going to be awkward. Like it's okay. It's going to get better, but it's also, let's laugh at it. So if anything comes to mind.
Well, my first queer sex party was in San Francisco. I was in my early 20s. I was working for a lesbian BDSM collective called Stormy Leather. So I was taking all their wares to these sex parties, and they were put on by an organization called Cuffs. So it was and then there's another organization called the Lesbian Sex Mafia who would do them in New York, and sometimes we would go there, and they would have them at the Vault. But my first one, they served chili, and I thought that was an odd thing. And then I noticed that at every sex party that I went to, they always had some kind of a chili. And I was like, that is such a strange thing with beans. So, but sometimes it would be vegetarian, and sometimes it would have like that sort of TVP, texturized vegetable protein, that sort of mimics ground beef. But I always thought, what an odd, always a chili and chocolate chip cookies. I mean, you need to keep your energy up. Yeah. But I think it's an odd thing to serve at a sex party, but they always have them.
But it's good. It's hearty. I think maybe the idea is there's a lot of nutrition in this one dish. That's all you need is just some chili to keep you going.
Right.
Well, Margaret, this has been incredible. Thank you. I am so grateful for you and the baby gay community. You have just been such an inspiration to us, and will continue forever. And thank you for everything. So,
Thank you so much.
Where can people find you on social?
People can find me on Instagram at Margaret_Cho. I'm on TikTok at the Margaret Cho. And you can find tickets to my shows and scheduling at margaretcho.com.
People, you should all go watch All That We Love on November 7th in theaters, and as well as your movie that's in theaters right now.
Oh, Queens of the Dead. It's in theaters now.
Thank you so much. And remember, baby gays, coming out looks good on you.